Our guest for today on Boss's Day Out is Mr. Bhavarlal Jain, founder chairman of the Jain Irrigation Group, and we are now in Jalgaon, the 750-acre campus of the Jain Irrigation Group, and we're going to meet Mr. Bhavarlal Jain. Hello,
Hi,
sir.
how are
Yamini. Thanks so much for being on Boss's Day Out.
It's my pleasure, man.
Hi. What's your name?
Atman.
And what's your name? So you headed out for a morning walk?
Yeah, morning walk, yes.
Okay. And this is something you do every day?
Every day, whether it is rains or it is summer or it is winter.
You always manage to...
Every day, yeah, one hour for walking.
So you'd call yourself a very health conscious person?
Well, I am extremely health conscious, yes. Particularly after the first attack in 1982 and successive 5 attacks thereafter. I am very health conscious.
Tell us a little bit about your journey. How did it all start? How did you get into agriculture in the first place?
Well, born in a village which is about 50 kilometers from here, Wakod, and into a family of farmers and traders. My mother was illiterate. My father had done only 3 classes, and I did my first 3 classes in the same school at Wakod. Thereafter, my father thought it right, that he should shift me from there to Jalgaon, being a district location.
Right.
So you see, after that I did my BCom LLB and then got into some trading businesses with SO, an MNC, and they really built me as a person and as a marketeer. That was my foray into trading activities, because we couldn't afford anything else. With bare 7,000 rupees capital, one day I was sitting on a petrol pump of the SO,
Okay.
SO petrol pump,
Okay.
and I read a sign on the back of a Scottish rig which said that agriculture, a profession with future. That made a deep impression on my mind.
What you see behind me are the sprinkler irrigation system, which monitor the amount of water that gets into the soil depending on soil type and nature of crop. Now this is part of the micro irrigation business of the Jain Irrigation Group, which is their largest business, and it's a significant contributor to revenues. Now rest of the day, of course, they have other businesses. They have their pipes businesses, they have their food processing businesses. We're going to be seeing and talking about all of these businesses during the day. And now we'll head to meet the farmers. So now we'll go ahead and we'll join Mr. Jain with his yoga sessions. 9 o'clock now.
Yeah.
What should we head out? What is the next thing that you?
We will now. I'll let to now get ready and then take breakfast.
Do you always get to eat together like this, or is this a special occasion?
I think not always, because some of us are traveling and so
Okay.
on. But whenever we get opportunity, especially in the evening for dinner, then all of us are in Jalgaon, we end up eating together.
So we are now entering the fruit processing plant. This is part of their food processing business, and it's basically fruits that are grown here. The pulp is processed, and this is the plant that we're going to be visiting now. So the food processing business is chiefly an export-oriented business for the Jain Irrigation Group. So can you elaborate a little bit about what percentage of the business is actually your
Well,
oriented?
so far as the fruits are concerned, it is 60% still continues to be domestic as of now, and we hope to get it to about 50-50. At this point in time, because of the recessionary trends in the foreign markets, including European market, it has gone down to 40%, and 60% are our customers like Coca-Cola, mainly chiefly, or Hindustan Lever. And for example, this tomato is going to Hindustan Unilever, while the mango goes to Coca-Cola.
And are your expansion plans on track in the context of the recession? Or
No, we have instead preferred to just take a sort of a consolidation phase for a year.
And how do you see the acquisition space right now?
Acquisition is going fine. I mean, in terms of cultural compatibility, in terms of other help that is required, but eventually for the Indian product to move in those markets, and for them to accept this market, or accept the product from India, is a process,
Right.
through which we have to go. I think within 2 years we should be having a complete smooth changeover of that also. Transformation, I would say, between two cultures.
Now we're going to see and explore another angle of their business, which is the drip irrigation business, part of the micro irrigation systems. And we're going to see a demo park where a lot of drip irrigation systems are put in place and farmers are trained in this place. More crop per drop is the line that Jain Irrigation goes by. Right now we're at the demo center where various drip irrigation systems are on display for farmers. Training sessions are conducted here so farmers can be made aware of the various techniques depending on soil type and rainfall variations for which they can use drip irrigation. Now Mr. Jain, drip irrigation and irrigation equipment is one of your core businesses, and more than that it's contributed to the whole practice of sustainable agriculture. Can you tell us more about how significant this business is in terms of revenue and also in terms of the change it's brought about. Say if we can take an example of Jalgaon as a case study.
Well, let me first take the last part first.
Right.
And the change it has brought about is simply aghast. It's enormous. It's not only a technique to save water or to improve productivity.
Right.
It is in fact a management tool which enables the farmer to use every resource that he deploys. A small thing like prices in the market, if they are high, that are currently high, then he can hasten the maturity of the crop.
Right.
And that crop he can get a week earlier, so he can save a lot of money. It's a management tool, it's not only a productivity tool.
Right.
Or it's not only a water saving device.
And now when you look at agriculture, it's a fairly untapped market in India. You could say that, just little over 1% of Indian agriculture is irrigated using mechanized means.
Yes.
So in that sense, can you tell me a little bit about whether this project are you able to access small farmers? Are they able to access this equipment in terms of being able to afford it? Do they get subsidies? How does it work?
The whole approach was that we have 1,000 acres of land, 5,000 acres of farm, and it is a corporate farm, and you are not able to use it. You don't think of small farms. Here we are now dealing with 1 acre, 2 acre, 2.5 acres, and that's the majority of our customers in India and even outside.
Now, talking about Jain Irrigation as a business, can you tell us about now drip irrigation is one of your core businesses.
Yeah.
So, what is the revenue share that drip irrigation contributes?
Well, drip irrigation, if you purely take only as micro irrigation, then in that case what you find is that drip irrigation will be about 30% of the total revenue.
Right.
At best, including the pipes, because we are supposed to be doing about close to 3,000 crores this year, and out of that it would be about 1,000 crores, so 33% of the total revenue, purely in terms of that. But in terms of contribution, it would be close to about 45%.
What would you say has been the impact of the financial meltdown on
Well,
on the agricultural
you should
business?
actually go and ask a farmer. A smiling farmer is my prize, and a smiling farmer is my award, and that's the real thing. I have seen a farmer who could not afford even a bullock cart properly is having a tractor today, and he was not having more than 3 acres of land. And if you go and visit him today, he has taken on lease over 100 acres of land, and he is able to do that. And he gives exclusive credit for his prosperity, for his empowerment, only to micro irrigation and tissue culture.
When we talk about your export markets, can you tell us, how significant in terms of revenue are your
Look,
export
for
markets?
export markets, at the moment what the strategy that we had followed was that it is going to take us a long time to tap those markets by going there, because their standards are different, their product practices are different, their climate is different, and it takes you a lot of time to evolve.
Right.
Instead, what we have done is we have acquired companies over there who are doing existing their business.
Right.
So I believe that's a better approach.
Right. And as of now, how much are revenues from exports in terms of numbers?
Well, you see, in terms of numbers, exports, we are planning this year about 300 crores, but I think we should reach around 250 or so.
We can go have a look at the pipe factory, at the plastic manufacturing factory after this. Pipe here that I'm holding is 3 millimeters in diameter, and it's used for dripping and for controlling water flow into the soil. Whereas the pipe that I'm standing in is used for undersea cabling, which means that a few months down the line it's going to be deep within the oceans, used for undersea cabling, or it could be used for effluent transfer, and it can be made as long as 1,000 kilometers. At the plastic sheet manufacturing unit, which is part of Plastic City, and so you tell me this is mainly an export led business. Can you tell us a little more about it? What are your chief export markets?
Well, the best market we have is the Western Europe, particularly UK, Germany, France. Next to that, we have our markets in United States. In India, we have not been able to make much headway because the product prices do not suit the Indian market.
What's the share of revenue of this business right now?
At one time it was about 25%, 20 to 25%. Now it is down to 10, 15% because of the global slowdown, the housing slowdown, because this is used in the exterior and the interior of the houses in the United States.
We've talked about your various businesses, we've talked about your pipe business, we've talked about your drip irrigation business. What do you see as the growth areas going forward?
Well, there are two growth areas which are very obvious. One is the micro irrigation segment and second is the food processing. So food and micro irrigation are two basically the growth engines which will continue to be growth engines. Now, why do I say that? Because these are the basics, the basic needs of humanity.
Sir, for getting into new untapped markets in India, can you tell us a little bit about your expansion plans with your...
Well, yes, little is the right word you have used, because if those plans are still not unveiled publicly, it is very difficult to talk about them. Nevertheless, I would only mention this much, that non-conventional energy or renewable energy is our another focus area for the future. We are already on to research and development in that area for last about 3 years. We have pilot scale plants coming up, and very soon we would have completed the pilot study as well. So I believe that in the next 2 years' time, you can see Jain Irrigation as a significant player even in the renewable energy sector.
We've had a long day meeting the farmers, visiting the various plants and understanding the businesses of the Jain Group, and now it's time for dinner and we're heading to Mr. Jain's house now. So I've been wanting to ask you this, like, you're a very disciplined person, and the way this organization runs is, I can say that it seems very different from the other organizations. You're disciplined, the way the whole community is, there's vegetarian food, for example, and a lot of things are not allowed on campus, and there's a lot of value attached to ethics. I want to ask you, in a changing world like this, where a lot of corporates are tempted to sell out, have you ever felt a challenge? Have you ever felt a moment of weakness? Have you ever deliberated it, or have you ever struggled with this before?
Well, I must admit one thing, that whatever has been done and is being done is after a great deal of thought. It's not out of any dogma. It's not out of any preconceived notion of a religion. It is purely based either on hygiene or on health or on longer sustainable perspective in life.
At the end of the day, a company is also about profit. And is it, I'm asking you, difficult to maintain your ethics and not kind of sell out to certain things, and still keep your company
Vibrant.
from having a vibrant
Yes.
balance sheet?
Yes, yes. On the contrary, the level of commitment that you would see and observe in my people would be unmatched. And it is that commitment which is born out of this value system. It is not born out of the larger the pay, the larger is the commitment. We don't lose our focus on profit at all because we get 3 times the output from the same people. They are sane, they are not fighting, they don't have that killing instinct, and that killing instinct is missing. We have had no unions, we have had no trade unions, we have had no association, we have had no fights, we have had no slogan mongering, nothing in last 45 years. How do you think can it happen?
Yet it's about values and still
That's right.
having a vibrant balance sheet.
That's right.
Right.
And I think that's what we should all work for, rather than be misguided or guided by something else or somebody else's success. We don't know how do they succeed.
It's been a long day here on Boss's Day Out, and the Jain Irrigation Group is a different company in many ways, and they are in many businesses, but at the end of the day, what they say is that it's about values and with a vibrant balance sheet. But it's not a company that hasn't made mistakes, it's made mistakes and it's re-emerged stronger. But now it's time for us to head back to Mumbai. In Jalgaon with camera person Rajan Samant, Yamini Deen Dayalan, NDTV.